Pam here with Be Creative Crafts, and welcome. I just remembered I needed to open this. That way it wouldn't be all crinkly. So how's everybody doing tonight? And welcome in to everybody. If you are new here, welcome. We're glad you joined us. And if you are returning, welcome back. So happy to see y'all. Okay, so we got some people in the chat. Hello, Miss Lisa and Miss Angel and Miss Nancy. She said, Treasure Raid, members Treasure Raid. Yes, and I will have to catch the replay. I was reading a book, and then I realized I had not scheduled the live. I was like, oopsies, my bad. So I had to get on that real quick. Hello, Miss Kimberly. Welcome in. And I think there's Mr. Rudy. Welcome in. He said I had a birthday. Yes. We wished you happy birthday last week, and I hope you had a great birthday. Nancy said she's been cleaning a bit. Rudy, I will not be writing numbers today. I'm going to be working on a crochet project. And he said, can I appear on the live? Not tonight. I don't have a panel tonight. Hello, Miss Tammy. Welcome in. Nancy said she figured that when she was trying to redirect. Yeah, I didn't get it scheduled. And y'all, my camera's kind of off because I've been working on the website this week. I've been working on it every night this week. I've been editing videos, and y'all, the response to the Crocheted Jericho has been absolutely amazing. Thank you to everybody that has watched it and for all of your positive feedback. Y'all rock. Y'all are awesome. Let's see. Rudy says, do you like menu items? Depends on what the menu item is. But y'all have been great. I appreciate all the positive feedback that I've been getting on it. I do have part 3 almost done. It started out at over 2 hours, but that's because I have like some other things that were mixed in with there that I had to get taken out. So I'm trying to get that. It's down to like an hour now. So I want to get it a little bit shorter. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on, trying to get that edited. But I do have the written pattern on my website for the parts that have been released so far. Hopefully I was able to explain it correctly, writing it out, because you know that sometimes when you're doing things not in the traditional way, trying to explain how you did it is harder than you would think. So Nancy says, yes, it has, and congratulations. Yes, thank you. Hello, Mommy. My mom says, hello, everyone. But yes, so I said I was going to quit checking the numbers, but y'all, it's at over 5,000. Part 1 has over 5,000 views right now, and that's just amazing to me. Because normally my videos, you know, they hover around the same number, and I expect them to be at that number. So when it was higher than that, it was surprising. Pleasantly surprising. So, and Tammy says hi to all the friends in the chat. Nancy said, wow, it's 3K yesterday. I know, right? Lisa says, you have been busy. I knew it would go over good. Aw, thank you. So what we're going to do tonight is we are going to work on the first large rectangle of the, and I think I figured out what is wrong with my camera, why it's freaking me out. Not really freaking me out, but why it's throwing me off. It's because it's not mirrored. So when I'm putting my hands this way on screen, they're going that way. That's what it is. It's not back to the way I'm used to having it. And that's what's throwing me off. I just thought I'd share that with y'all. Okay, so let me show you what yarn I'm going to be using. Nancy said, send some of that mojo my way. Well, here's the thing, y'all. Like when I wanted to get the video edited in July so that it was already ready. All I had to do was schedule it and just post it. But I procrastinated, and part of the reason I procrastinated is because I kept watching back the video and I didn't think it was good enough. I know. I'm very, very critical of myself when I'm doing tutorials, and I'm like, I don't know if I explained it well enough. I don't know if people would be able to understand it. I don't know if I'm close enough, if I'm too far away. I know. It's a me thing. I know. My mom said I had no doubt it would be very successful. Oh, thank you. Hey, Trish, welcome in. Okay, so let me show you the yarn we're going to be using tonight. So I bought this a while back. It is the Red Heart Super Saver Bitty Stripes, and this one is so pretty. This one is the color Crayon Box. So this is what we're going to be using. Now I'm thinking that instead of doing a white mortar row, I'm thinking maybe black to make these colors pop out. Although white also would make them pop, because look at that. It's so pretty. But we're going to work on the large rectangle tonight. All of them are going to be in this color. I'm only going to do it in 2 colors. And this is going to be the color for every block because it is a stripe. So they're all going to be a little bit different anyway because of the way the striping is going to fall. So let me flip the camera. First, let's unplug this phone. I was going to have the phone plugged in, but I did not charge it very long. So it doesn't have a whole lot of juice in it. So we're just going to flip it and y'all can just look at my hands. How about that? I got to move my stuff out of the way. Let's see. Kimberly says, very pretty. Be bold. Go for the black. I'm kind of thinking that, yeah. Plus, I think, some of y'all may know, I really like the stained glass look. If y'all have seen Happily Stained, you'll know. But so I'm thinking that black, I don't know. It'll be a little thicker than your standard stained glass. But I really think that black is going to make that pop. Look, see? Nancy reading my mind. She said with the black, it'll look like Happily Stained. But yeah, y'all, if y'all haven't seen this, this is the Red Heart Super Saver Bitty Stripes. I got to fix that camera. That's going to make me crazy. It is a 10-ounce skein, 283 gram, 515 yards, 471 meters of a medium 4-weight. And y'all, this is actually really quite soft. I have not, hadn't even opened the package. I've opened the box, but I hadn't opened any of the individual skeins. I bought this from, actually bought it from Yarn Inspirations. Walmart had it, but it was actually cheaper. I got it on, when I bought it, it was on sale at Yarn Inspirations, and they had like a free shipping or something. I don't know. Either way, I crunched all the numbers. It was cheaper to get it straight from the Yarn Inspirations website. So let me move all this other stuff out of the way. This is what I was working with the other day. We'll set you right there. I don't think I'm going to need my notes because I've made this so many times already. So this will be the 4th one. No, the 5th one. I started making one that was like in a baby weight yarn, like a number 3, that really thin baby yarn. But I wasn't digging how it was coming out. I think it would have still been really pretty. I just don't think I had the right hook to do it with. So I frogged that one. So this will be the 4th large one. That is not my hand. I have it turned backwards to do it that way. So yeah, so let's get the stitching. Let's see here. Nancy said, that's a large skein. It really is. It really is. Trish is going to be listening while knitting 1 p.m. Friday afternoon in New Zealand. Oh, nice. I hope you've had a wonderful Friday. Nancy said she wants to try the new all-in-one mini granny square. I know, y'all. Nancy sent me a picture of that. So Yarn Inspirations has come out with some new all-in-ones. We talked about the one last week with the which is the corner to corner. But this one, now they have one that makes smaller granny squares. And of course, y'all know where I went. I was like, I bet that would pull really nicely because the larger one was harder to pull because it was I think a 6-inch square, so you had longer color changes. But the mini, or what is it called? Mini, yeah, the mini granny creates a 4-inch square. So I'm interested to get some to see how that color pulls. Hey, Miss Jenny, welcome in. She said she's going to be listening while doing things, and for her it is 11. Whoop, and my thing jumped. 11:10 a.m. in Sydney. So welcome in, y'all. We have just got people from all over the world here tonight. Trish says, nearly spring. I'm tired of winter. See, and we're opposite. We're coming up on the end of summer, and we're all getting ready for fall. But, really, if you think about it, in the fall and the spring, our temperatures are close to the same, really. Y'all are warming up. We're cooling down, but we're probably about the same. Lisa said she's going to get some. Okay, so let me flip my camera. And let's see. I bumped this camera, so let's see how it is. There we go. Let's see. Let's get all this stuff out the way. Got the pink. This is where I was. This is from the temperature quilt. Push it. It may just have to stay there. Now I can move it. Now this one's a giant skein. This is not what we're going to be using. But this is a jumbo 14 ounce or 744 yards. This, I've been using a lot of pink in the temperature blanket. Okay. All right. So y'all, part 1 is the only row that we will start with a chain. Now, if you want to do the chainless single crochet foundation row, you absolutely can, but it's not necessary. You don't have to do that for part 1. Now, as the blanket grows, did I bring? Oh yeah, did y'all hear Tiny? He says hello. I didn't bring it in here. As the blanket grows, you're gonna have to start at one end, so you need to do the chainless, unless you want to cut and move your yarn at the end of each row, which we'll get to that when we get to that part. But so let's just get going. Okay, so first let's make a slip knot, and then you're going to chain 14. Where's my remote? Let's move us down just a little bit. There we go. And this. Let's see. Trish says, I'm often in and out and about when you're live. It's my daytime. That is quite all right. You pop in and out whenever you can. I don't mind at all. I do that with a lot of the lives. A lot of times I'm at work when people are live, so I try to listen as I can in between phone calls and work and, all that kind of good stuff. And Tinykins, Miss Lisa says hello. She says hi to you. All right, so we are going to chain 14. And I did not tell you, I'm using a K-hook, which is a 6.5 millimeter. And Nancy said, nope, it's not called mini, it's called petite. So it's the petite granny square. But that's okay. It makes 4-inch. I think when I read it last night, it's 4-inch. As if that's 4 inches. That's not 4 inches. But you know what I mean. It makes smaller ones. All right, y'all, I got to open up my drink. But it is called the petite granny square. Y'all should check it out. We may go check that out in a little bit, because I didn't go to the Yarnspirations website, so I didn't check out all the colors. I just read the description. Sorry, y'all, I had to get a drink. Okay, so now the first 2 rows are really easy. You're just going to work a single crochet in each stitch all the way across. I like to work in the back bumps of my chains because it gives a really nice stitch definition on both sides. And what I mean by that is you get these little V's. It's kind of hard to tell. But then on the bottom, you also get the same little V. So since we're going to be working in these stitches to do the border, it just makes it easy to really see where your stitch needs to go. If you don't like working in the back bump, you don't have to. That's totally up to you. You do you. So last week we did the gauge swatch. And then if you missed that, you can catch the replay, or if you don't want to catch the replay and see me make it live, you can just watch the tutorial. And then after I finish this row, I'm going to back that one out. Boop. And I'm going to work my tail in as I go. And then I'm going to go double check my stitch count. Since I was talking, I tried to be quiet while I was counting, but I still get distracted. So all I do is I just fold my tail over And then I just kind of crochet it in, and then I'll weave it in the rest of the way later. But this way it kind of gets it out of the way and gets it started on being locked in. And it also gives me something to hang on to, whoopsie, when I'm doing that last stitch. And then I will grab that tail and I'll just pull it to get rid of that loop. Alrighty, let's see here. Nancy said the mini or the petite makes 32 squares. Oh, wow. That's a lot. Trish says gauge swatch. What's that? And you don't have to do a gauge swatch. I just know that I typically, okay, so if I'm using a hook like this or like this, I crochet tight. With this ergonomic handle, I don't crochet as tight, so I'm not sure if my stitch tension is going to be the same as yours. I like using a K hook. It gives me a nice flowy fabric. So that's why I suggested to do the gauge swatch. But yeah, very rarely do I actually do a gauge swatch. But I did actually do one for this blanket. I did. All right, y'all, chain one and turn. And then work another row of single crochet. So your first 2 rows are easy peasy, just 2 rows of single crochet. Hey, T.E. Welcome in, Miss Tina. How are you doing tonight? And then after I said I was going to check my stitch count, I totally didn't. So when I get to the end of this row, I'm going to double check that and make sure that I'm on track for the right number. Because if I'm not, that's going to throw everything off when I am trying to do my border. Because my stitch count won't be right. Okay. So let me double check here. And Nancy said, and the Grande makes 4 12-inch squares. Oh, yeah, they also have a new Grande Granny Square, which makes giant squares. Well, 12-inch squares. Bigger. 13. Yahoo! Okay, so you should have 13 stitches, and I do, so yippee! Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to do 4 rows of the Suzette stitch. Let me turn that. That keeps autofocusing. Let me turn that off. Where are you? Boop, right there. Kimberly says, sorry if I missed anyone saying hi. She's in the bushes doing diamond art. Ooh, fun. I bought some diamond art kits. I did not get them done. Actually, I didn't even do my little Let's Get Crafting Live last weekend. I was tired from the flea market, and I just didn't have it in me to do it. But I will get back to the reviewing of that I picked up from Dollar Tree. All right, so let's chain 1 and turn. So the Suzette is, it gives a really pretty texture, but it's also an easy stitch to do. You're going to work a single crochet and a double crochet right into that first stitch. So work a single crochet and a double crochet. Then you're going to skip a stitch. I know this yarn is a little dark. Let me see if that'll help. So you'll skip a stitch and then into the next stitch, work a single and a double. And you will do the Suzette stitch a lot during this blanket. So if you didn't know how to do it before you made the blanket, you will know how to do it after. But the good thing is about it is it's a 1 row repeat. You just need to be working in an odd multiple, and then it's 1 row repeat. So skip a stitch, and the next one, single and a double. And Miss Trish said she loves doing diamond art, but my eyes can't see and my hands shake too much. Oh no! Skip a stitch, and then the next one, work a single and a double. Last weekend at the flea market, we all had our projects that we were working on, and one of the ladies she brought a diamond art. The first day she forgot a project, so she ran up to Dollar General and bought some napkins that they had on sale. So she spent the day separating them apart, pulling the, you know how they're two-plied. So she spent the day pulling those apart. That's pretty. Then now we have 2 stitches left, so we're going to skip a stitch, and in that last stitch, work a single crochet. Miss Nancy is going to start working on an Imkin for an order. I keep putting it off and making snowflakes. Those little Imkins are really cute. I've got the book, but I have not made one yet. Y'all know amigurumis aren't my jam, but I do think they're adorable. And I might get back in the mood to do one again. I have made them. I used to enjoy making them, but I think I burnt myself out because I made a whole bunch one year for a craft show. I mean, like a whole bunch. All right, so let's chain 1 and turn. Oh, I don't have my little row counter in here. So what we're going to do, since I don't have my row counter, is we're going to keep track on a piece of paper. Because I'm going to be yapping, and I want to make sure that I don't lose track of where I'm at. Okay. So I just did 1 row. Open. Put a little dot. 1 row. Chain 1. We've just chained 1 and turned, and now we're just going to repeat single and a double in that first stitch. Skip a stitch, single and a double. But anyway, as I was saying, the lady at the flea market last weekend, the next second day she brought in her diamond painting stuff. Skip a stitch, single and a double. And you know, I didn't even go. She showed it to me from across the room, but I don't even remember what it was she was making. But I asked her if she had the light. I've heard that the light screen thing that you can set it on really helps you be able to see it better. Won't help with shaking, but it'll help with you being able to see it. Miss Lisa's heading to the bushes. Okay. Enjoy. I hope there's snacks in the bushes. Nancy said she thinks it's her 6th or 7th Imkin. This one is purple and green, similar to the Earl Jr. one. And if y'all are or if y'all haven't seen what the Imkins are, it's a book. I got, I actually won mine in a giveaway from Dawn and Mr. Yarndall. But you can make, it gives you a bunch of different pieces, parts, and you can pick which one you want and make hundreds of different light box. Thank you, Nancy. I could not think of what it was called. Oh, hold on. Well, I'll show y'all the book here in a second. I can see it, but you can make a bunch of different little guys, different hats, different body styles, different faces, different arms, wings. Chain 1, turn. So we've just done 2 rows of Suzette. We need to do 2 more. So in the first stitch, we're going to work a single and a double. Skip a stitch, single and a double. And y'all, this yarn is actually really soft. I'm impressed. Good job, Red Heart Yarn Inspirations. Y'all did good on this one. And this color is fabulous. And one thing I will say, though, because it is variegated, I don't know how well you'll be able to see the stitch definition, but that's okay. It's variegated, and then it's also got the little white bits coming through. But we'll work this up, and we'll see how well we can see it. Okay, so I have 2 stitches left, and work a single crochet in my last stitch here. Chain 1 and turn, and then 1 more row of Suzette, so single and a double. And y'all will hear me say this a lot in the tutorial. Single, double, skip a stitch, work a single and a double, skip a stitch, single, double. So what you're doing is you're working your stitch in the single crochet from the row below. So you're working your 2 stitches, your single and your double, into the single crochet. And by working that single crochet beside that double crochet, it pulls that double crochet down a little bit, which is what creates that really pretty texture. So if you want to add texture to a project, there are several different stitch combos that you can do to create texture that isn't a yarn eater, and is quite easy to do. Okay, so that is what we have got. We have got 2 rows of single crochet and then 4 rows of Suzette. Nancy said the book states there are over 1 million combinations. Oh, wow. I wouldn't have guessed 1 million, but I suppose if you add all the different things that they give you. So what we're going to do is then we're going to repeat this section right here. We're going to repeat that 3 times. So you're going to do 2 rows of single crochet and 4 rows of the Suzette stitch, and you're going to do it 3 more times for a total of 4 of these little sections. So chain 1, turn, and then do 2 rows of single crochet. Easy row. And every time you get to a single crochet row, I suggest you go ahead and double check your stitch count, because that's a good row to do it on when you're just doing easy single crochets. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Because with this particular design, your stitch count matters. And a single crochet row is a good row also to adjust your stitch count if you have gotten off. So I'm almost to the end. See where we're at. See what we're doing on time. We are at 8:29. I have not dropped the Jeopardy question yet, so we're going to chain 1 and turn. If y'all will let me know when the first ads play, I will drop the question as soon as the ads are done. Since I was a couple minutes late starting, they should be coming up here in the next couple of minutes. I just don't want to be in the middle of reading the question and have the ads pop up. But I really think that tonight, y'all will get this one pretty quickly. As I told y'all last week, I'm really digging this category. We're still in old school movies. And as soon as I read the first line, I knew the answer immediately. And even if you have never seen this particular movie, I feel like most of y'all will know the answer. And while y'all look at this little guy, I'm going to grab that book that Nancy was talking about. If there's one thing y'all should know about me, is that I'm very disorganized. But here's the book. Let's zoom you back. So the fact that I was able to put my hands on this book is kind of crazy. It's actually in the place where it was supposed to be. But see, look, so you can make all 3 of these little guys by using the different, so it gives you different hats and different little faces, and they're just super cute. There's some more on the back. So you can give them like little, I don't know, I don't know what kind of hair you would call that. You could put a beard on them. Or you can brush out the yarn and give them soft, floofy hair. Or you could do like this, like a little octopus looking head. My mom says they're all so cute. They really are. And I really wish that I enjoyed it more. Look at that one. Oh, that looks like it could be made with the bitty stripes. So you can do standing body, which is what that one is. Or you could do a sitting. They have different antlers. There's a little, look at that one. It's so cute with the little mushroom hat. There's that little guy. And then this one's is sitting. But it's really cool because you can like for me with the grandbabies, you know, you could let them pick out, you know, what kind of ears do you want it to have. You can really customize it. Very, 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 very customizable. They can pick out the color. They can pick out the head. They can pick out the ears. They can pick out how they want them to sit, if they want them to stand, if they want them to have a hat. Very customizable. But they're really cute. Okay. We're going to set that back down there. See, my mom said Eliana and Asher would love those. I know. And I haven't made the ones that they picked out for the kits, the crochet kits that I bought. I may just have to bring a book over and let them pick one of these and make them. After I finish the tutorial, editing all the tutorial pieces, parts for what we're working on. Okay, let me zoom us back down. Is that far enough? More? Okay. So I've just done my second row of single crochet. So we're going to chain one and turn, and then you're going to repeat the 4 rows of Suzette. So single double, skip a stitch, single double all the way across until you have 2 stitches remaining, and then you skip one and work a single crochet in that last stitch. So single double, skip a stitch, single double. Have those ads played yet, y'all? I can't remember. I know I was a couple minutes late coming on, but I really didn't pay attention. I guess I could look. Okay, it says 31 minutes. So it should have played. Okay. Let me finish this row, and then I will drop that Jeopardy answer for y'all. But I'm watching the littles tomorrow night because my kiddos are going to they're going to a wedding. So I guess I could bring that book over and let them look at it and see what they like. Okay. So we're going to chain one and turn, but Nancy says, what? You can't do all of the things at one time? I know, right? Maybe I should wait until I'm ready to make their Empkins and let them pick it at that time, because if I bring it over now, I know baby girl is going to be asking. Oh, Nancy says no ads yet. Okay. Well, very interesting. That's okay. YouTube, you do your thing. Let's see here. Where was I going? Making sure I did it right. Yep, it's on, so it's fine. We're just going to let it roll. My mom said Eliana and her went shopping today. She picked out a tie-dye t-shirt like the one you and I have, so we can dress like, aw, sweet baby girl. All right, y'all, let's go over here to the banners. And this is our Jeopardy answer of the night. We are still on the category old school movies. So y'all, I fully expect almost everybody in the chat to know the answer of this. If you're catching the replay, as soon as I read the first line, I really feel like everybody's just going to know it. And maybe it's because I am a fan, but I just feel like y'all will. Okay, so the answer is in 1998, this actor was the water boy for South Central Louisiana State until he became a tackling machine on the gridiron. And as soon as I read actor and water boy, I knew exactly who it is. Alrighty, so I've done one row of Suzette, so I'm going to chain one and turn and do another. So I need to do a total of 4. You've got one Adam Sandler coming in. I'm going to be quiet. I'm not going to say if that's right or wrong. We got another Adam Sandler coming in. And another Adam Sandler coming in. on and turn. So I really think that this yarn is going to be pretty in this because it is color changing. So each block, even though I'm using the same yarn, the same skein of yarn, each block is going to be different. Y'all, I'm really liking this yarn. Like, I like the way it feels. It feels a little bit thicker than Red Heart usually feels. It feels closer to Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn. It's a little bit, it's not as soft, but it's definitely softer than your traditional Red Heart Super Saver. Ooh, and now we're going into this pretty orange. My mom says, who was Adam Sandler? Adam Sandler. Nancy said she's loving the colors. I know, isn't it pretty? Okay, so I didn't write my little thing down. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out. Whoop, y'all can't see me. So we got 1, 2, 3. But the crayon box is supposed to, you know, basically represents all the colors in a box of crayons. But also, it's a rainbow. But I like how each of these colors just kind of fades into one another, which, you know, is what a rainbow does. And Kimberly says, here comes some ads. I guess I was just a little early. Well, they should have been, but that's okay. Well, good. Here come the ads, so we good. Nancy says she's getting her Christmas list ready for Earl to get me. Okay, so there is the second repeat. I'm going to pull y'all back just a little bit. First, I got to zoom you down. Okay. It's hard to see it here, but okay. Maybe if I turn it. Because it is a busy yarn with all of the little variegate, the little white bits coming out of it. But right here, you can kind of see that row going across there. That is our row of single crochet. Hey, Miss Karen. That's our row of single crochet. Angel said, can I add some to your list? To Nancy. All right. So the ads are just a little late. No worries. All good. So we are on track. Good deal. Sorry, y'all had to get another drink. All right. So in the tutorial, I say that you need to do this in 2 colors, a minimum of 2 colors. But y'all, I got to thinking. I know. And I'm probably going to start yet another one of these bad boys because I want to see what it's going to look like in a solid. Because with this particular stitch, when worked in a solid, you can really see that stitch definition. And I think, well, I want to test it out and see how it would do in a solid. If it would be if the stitches would be able to carry it and give off the same vibe, the same quilted vibe. Nancy says, hi, Angel, just because I have a list doesn't mean he'll get it. But he has, you know, he has, but you're doing it right because he can't say he doesn't know what you want or he didn't know what you wanted because you're telling him. All right, so we've just done our 4 Suzette, so we're going to do 2 rows of single crochet. But I want to see what this looks like in a solid color. And I have plenty of solid colors here to do it in. I just have to decide which one I want to use. So what color should I use, y'all? I have some blue. Like, so I have this color blue. I have quite a few of these, so I could do it in blue. This is Bluebell. Red Heart Super Saver Bluebell is what this is. So I could do it in blue. You know I've got orange. Now, the orange that I have a bunch of is like safety vest orange. So it would be like blinding. But I do have that. Oh, you know what? I think I have some pumpkin too. So I could do orange. I have like a teal color over there that I can see. I have gray. So y'all toss out some colors. I do have some pink. So what color should I do it in if doing it in a solid? Or should I just grab one and just go with it? So now I'm doing my second row of single crochet. Let's see. My mom said her Christmas list is easy. Don't buy me anything that I can't use up. I got too much stuff as it is. Yep. I have a lot of stuff. But was it last year? Last year I gave you stuff you could use. And then I used part of it. Tammy says grab and go. Kimberly says green. So I'm going to chain one and turn. Now I'm going to do 4 more rows of Suzette. So what I'll do is I'll write down everybody's suggestions. And I may just toss them in a bucket. And if it's grab and go, that is easy enough. And I'll also look and see if I have enough of what I have in my stash. Because I don't want to buy anything new. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to go buy something new. But I don't need to go buy anything new. But I'm pretty sure I have enough solids in every color. Maybe not yellow. I'm looking around. Y'all can't see me, but I'm looking around. I'm looking around the room. My mom said, yes, you did, and I appreciate it. One row. So we're going to chain one, turn. What time is it? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go over here and get our Jeopardy answer or question to our answer. For those that are lurking and listening or catching the replay, I'm going to go ahead and reread that question. Answer. Y'all know what I mean. The Jeopardy answer. The category is old school movies. Hey, Miss Rachel. In 1998, this actor was the water boy for South Central Louisiana State until he became a tackling machine on the gridiron. And for all of y'all that said, who is, guess it helps if I get over here on my banners, who is Adam Sandler? Of course y'all are correct. 100%. That's kind of, I mean, he doesn't have a new Waterboy movie out at the moment, but he does have a new movie out. It has been out for what, a couple weeks, maybe a month or so. I don't know. So those that are coming in, I am working the large rectangle of the I started to say the wrong name, the wrong blanket name. I am working the large rectangle section of part 1 of Crocheted Jericho. I do already have it out as a tutorial, but I thought I would work it up live so you can see how long it takes to make it. There I go, not keeping track again. This is why I need to bring my little poppets in here. 1, 2, especially for the large rectangle. Ooh, let me go back over here. Let's see here. Hey, Miss Cindy. She said, good to see you. Sorry I'm late. No worries. Welcome in. Diane said, who is Adam Sandler? Been lurking and following along with the crocheting. Awesome, Miss Diane. Let me know if you have any questions. Nancy says, I haven't watched that movie. Diane said, will this end with 2 rows of single crochet? Yes, ma'am, it will. So what you'll do is you will repeat that. You'll have 4 sections, and then you will end it with 2 rows of single crochet. So there's my 2 single, 1, 2, 3. So I have to do 1 more row here. Cindy says, beautiful hook. Love the color of your yarn. So cute. Thank you, ma'am. This is the Bitty Stripes by Red Heart. And this one is in the color Crayon Box. I really like it. It's going to be all colors. Hey, KK, welcome in. But I do have the tutorial out for this. I also have the pattern written up on my website as best that I can. I tried to write it up in a way that it was easy to understand, but I also linked it back to the tutorial so that if something is confusing in the way it's written, whoopsie, hopefully it'll be able to be explained. Let's see, Miss Karen said 2 weeks in the boggy blankets delivered. We are at 160. Awesome. Now I'm at the end of the row, have 2 stitches left. And single crochet, whoopsie, in that last stitch. Chain 1, turn, and then 2 rows of single crochet. And y'all can't, like, I can see here, like, there's my row of single crochet. And those rows of single crochet, what they do is they kind of make this this look like a little tufted, quilted block. That was my thought process in it. For those that don't know, the Crocheted Jericho is based off of a quilt pattern by Miss Kimberly, the Pajama Quilter. And her quilt is called Jericho. And it's available on in her Etsy store if y'all are interested in making a quilt. I do believe I have that linked in the description box below. If not, I will get it added after the live. But I think I do because I went and just copied and pasted my links or my description from part 1 tutorial. And I know it's all linked there. Diane said, I enjoyed the tutorial. Awesome. Yay. I am working on part 3 right now. So I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm going to set this right here. But what you're going to do on part 3, like after you do the mortar section, you're going to, which the mortars worked this way, but all of your color blocks are worked this way. So what you'll do is you'll crochet across and then you're going to slip stitch. And since you're working the mortar section, you'll be slip stitching, since it's being worked this way, you'll be slip stitching into the actual single crochet stitches. Kimberly said, Pam's blanket far exceeds my quilt. No, ma'am, your quilt is beautiful. Now I have to make sure. Okay, I did. I chained 1 and turned, but then I set it down. Your quilt is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. But trying to write up how I did that has been harder than I anticipated. But I have people asking, for written. So it's, yeah, sort of like how you would do entrelac. Yeah. A little bit. We figured out how to do it on a live one night. We just kind of went for it. KK says, what size hook are you using? I am using a K hook. I'm using a 6.5 millimeter. My mom said, is that one of the hooks Brad made using the Purple Heart? No, I don't have his yet. My cousin is making, now I do have my little seam ripper. My cousin is making me a handle like this where I'll be able to swap out my hooks. He made this. So pretty. He's making me a crochet hook. He's going to turn me a crochet hook. But yes, I'm using a K hook. So I've done 3. So 1, 2, 3. So I need to do one more repeat. KK says, making a beautiful fabric. Thank you. I wanted, with the combination of the single crochets and the Suzette stitch, it's really given it, or my hope was that it would give it a quilted, it would look like a quilt. That was my hope. Y'all know what? I've got the finished one right here. Hold on. Okay. There's a stitch marker. I'll finish this row. Y'all remind me, I've only done 1 row of Suzette, and I need to do 3 more. Look, this has got little flecks of green in it, this section. So I must be getting ready to move into the green. But it's just tossing out just a few little flecks. Just a few here and there. Okay. Let me grab the blanket and show y'all what it looks like. It's sitting here. Hold on. It's under a Don't mind the crinkling, y'all. It's in a bag. It's in a big, big bag. Okay. Let's see here. Which way? So this is the mortar row. So you're working it into the edges. So your color block row lays like that. And then you work your mortar row going down the edge, which is easy. You just work 1 single crochet in the end of each row. And right now we're working on one of the large rectangles. This is what we're doing. Boop. But see here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Those single crochets really make those little sections pop out. So in this blanket, we've got a large rectangle and a square. That square has hair because it has a piece of grass because it got its photo shoot outside in the grass at my sister's house after it had just gotten mowed. But yeah. So then when you start your next color block row, you slip stitch right into the edge of the single crochets and you just continue working this way. And then you work your borders at the end. And then I did a little crochet binding around the edge. Cindy says, oh, so beautiful. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I guess I can get Adam Sandler's name off the screen. Boop. Go back to my comments here. I'm going to finish this large rectangle, y'all. I'm going to finish it on this live. I'm going to quit yapping, and I'm going to get it finished. Okay, so I got 3 more rows of the Suzette. And I said we were moving into green, but it actually looks like I'm moving into yellow. It's kind of yellow and green mixed together. KK says, I keep yapping. That I can do. I'm a talker. So y'all, Miss Kimberly has got me reading. I won't say she has me reading. She introduced me to a book series. It's called the Bellingwood book series by Diane Greenwood Muir, and it is a good book. I'm really a good series. I'm really enjoying the series. Let's see. Kimberly says that new yarn for the rectangle is so pretty. Do you have something black to hold up against it? I do. I'll grab it here in just a second. But it's a good book series. If y'all like cozy, I would consider it a cozy mystery. How about you, Miss Kimberly? There's not, well, yeah. It's not a heavy mystery as far as, and there's not always a mystery, but there is, but there isn't. Y'all would just have to read it to understand. But it is, if you have Kindle Unlimited, it's available on there. There are over 40 books in the series. But I'm really enjoying the series. The characters are very well developed. You know, when you can read a book and you really get into the characters and who they are. Kimberly says, definitely cozy mystery. That's what I would classify it as. So good deal. And then also the Raimi James book series that I told y'all about. Their next book in their series just dropped. I've got it. I haven't started reading it yet because I was reading about Polly and Henry in the Bellingwood series. But I do have the next book of that to read. Let's see. Kimberly says, yep, a bit of a drama, thriller, romance. But not like over the top romance. It's not like Harlequin or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, it's a good book. I kind of describe it. Look how pretty that's coming out. It reminds me of that other book series that I told y'all about too, the Misfortune series. You know, I mean, I could see this particular book series as well as that one. They could both be movies on the Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel, which I know they changed the name of it. It's not called that anymore, but that's what I can envision those. I could see it being on there. All right, so we're going to chain one and turn, and then you will finish off your large rectangle with 2 rows of single crochet. And after I do my 2 rows of single, I will grab something black to put up against it. Cindy said, looks so pretty. Miss Rachel said, I think I saw a series once that was a murder mystery, but also somehow involved crochet and yarn. Yeah, and I've read a couple of different ones. I don't remember the name. Oh, what is it? Hetchman, maybe? I think she has one. But the one by Raimi James, they own a yarn shop. So, but it's more knitting, but there are crocheters, but she does a lot of knitting stuff. And the main character also has a YouTube channel in the book series, so it's just kind of a fun read. My mom says, good night. Time to go read the Bible. Good night, Mom. And then I'm going to grab, so I'm finishing up my second row of single, and then I'm going to grab, I've got some black yarn. I was going to say, I wonder if I had something where I could put black all the way around it, but not in here, I don't. But I do have some black yarn sitting there, so we can put that. I'll probably put, it's got sparklies in it. Betty Hetchman for the crochet. I think she has a knitting and also a crochet series. While I've got Kindle Unlimited, I need to look and see if there are any more books in that series that I want to read. I don't normally have Kindle Unlimited, but I had like a free trial of it, and then I didn't cancel it. So then I got another month of it. Y'all know how that goes. So here's where my attention kind of gets all wonky. And you know what, y'all? On this particular one, if your attention gets, as long as your attention stays relatively the same, but I could tell like right here, that's a little bit tighter. Part of it is because I don't usually crochet sitting at a desk, but it's, let me fold it in half. It's really, well, maybe it isn't. Not really. It's not. Maybe to me, it just looks like it was. But it, once you put your rows of mortar, it kind of stretches it out. And then once you get your border on there, it works out fine. Okay, so let's grab some black to put around this. I got the bag sitting here. Maybe I don't fall over it. How about that? Let's see here. Yeah. What are you attached to? Whoa. Okay. Yep, we're just going to pull it all off. You know what happens when you get a little piece of string or a piece of the yarn and it's stuck underneath stuff? So I pulled all the stuff off. Okay. Ooh, Tiny's been laying on this yarn. So, black as the night. There it is. It's hard to tell, really, because it's so dark. But I really think it's going to make that pop. What is that? You can really see all his little... That is like... It looks really worse on screen than it does. There's another tiny fur. Okay. Do I have white? Not really. Kimberly said, yes, do the black. That's what the white would look like. It's hard to tell when I got the blue right there. I think the black just really going to make that pop. Because it really brightens that up. Okay, you're going to go back in the bowl. You see, I had it was in a yarn bowl. That was the yarn. What was I using that for? I don't remember what I was using that black for. Karen says, when I was in Nevada last week with the brother, told the ladies about Boggy Creek and they gave her free yarn at an estate sale. Oh, that's cool. That was very nice. And I also have, I have plenty of black because I bought some at Ollie's. It's in the Ogo. And it's just Red Heart Super Saver in black. So I can add that to it. Yeah. All right, y'all, let me flip my camera back around. Flippity, flippity, flippity. And we're going to flip the mirror thingy back so that when I'm moving, I'm not moving opposite of the way I'm moving. That was really distracting me, y'all, and I was confused as to what was... I knew something was off, but I couldn't tell. If y'all were watching the live earlier, I didn't have my camera mirrored. What that means is I can see the screen in front of me, so I can see me on screen, so I know I'm centered. When it's mirrored, it's like you're looking in a mirror. So if I put this hand up, it's like a mirror image. But I didn't have it mirrored, so I had my right hand up, but what I could see looked like I had my left hand up, and it was throwing my mind off. So Karen said the black makes it pop, but I don't use black much. It depends on what I'm making. But, and I do. Sometimes I need to have a lot of light when I'm working with black, and sometimes it doesn't bother me. It just depends. Do y'all get like that? What was I going to show y'all? Yes, I can show y'all this. So if y'all been seeing the tutorial, so this is how big it is. And it may be hard to tell like how big it is in the video, but it's, you know, it's wingspan or wider. So it's a good size, just a good size to curl up on the couch with. I mean, it's not like a queen or king size quilt. I don't tell you how to make it bigger or wider or anything, but in the tutorial, but if you really wanted to make it bigger, to make it to fit on a bed, what you'll need to do is you'll just need to continue this pattern here, just doing a large rectangle, small rectangle, square, and make it wider. You just have to make sure that your row count stays in an odd multiple. That will be your main thing. It just needs to be in an odd multiple in order for your Suzette stitch to work out right. And of course, you're going to need a lot more yarn. Let's see here. Miss Cindy said, how do they do the mirror image? I've heard lots of people ranting about that lately. If you do your tutorial, if you do your streaming through StreamYard, you just go into settings and it has a little thing that says mirror my camera and you just click it. And so what you see when you're looking at yourself on your screen looks like you're looking in a mirror. So, yep. But I'm guessing they must have done an update because I usually keep my overhead camera that faces this way. I usually keep it mirrored. But the one that I have that looks down, like where I'm facing the desk, I have it not mirrored. And the reason I have it not mirrored is because the camera's coming in from the other side and it's upside down. So it's already mirrored because it's looking upside down. Oh, let's see here. Rachel said, a couple of times I tried to use my laptop and the phone at the same time to do lives like you. One camera on the hand, one on the others. Can't tell if I'm doing it right. I've got my phone here too, but I didn't have it charged up. So I was afraid if I turned it on, it would either go down. But I can do that. But what I have to do is I have to plug in my earbuds to it so that I don't get the feedback if I have both cameras going at the same time. Because yeah. Miss Cindy says, wow, that blanket looks amazing. Love it. Thank you. So all of this yarn came from Hobby Lobby. It's just value acrylic. I love this. I love this yarn. In different colors. I used, for each color block, or for the color blocks, I used 5 different colors, and I only used 1 skein of each. Each color block row uses each color 1 time. And this linen, I used 5 skeins of it. Not all of 5, but you'll need at least 5 because you'll use 4 and part of the 5th one. And then for the border, I went down each side with one of the 5, and then I went all the way around the edging and periwinkle. Because this is heading off to Miss Kimberly at some point, and her favorite color is periwinkle. So, that's why I did that. Let's see here. Miss Angel said, I know if you smell burnt toast, it means you're having a stroke, but what does it mean when you're smelling baked cookies? Do you have a neighbor that's cooking? Or do you have a wax melt that has gotten turned on and smells yummy and delicious? I can't help you there. But now you're making me want some cookies. All right, so y'all, this is how big your rectangle should be. Oh, look how pretty. You can see those lines now here. You can see the single crochets right here, and right here. So that's going to be pretty. So then I'll do the black. I'll do a small rectangle next in black. I'll cut this off, and then when I go to do my square, I'll just pick right back up with this. So they're all going to be different, but yet the same. Angel says, yep, no wax melts or anything. I got nothing on that one. I got nothing. So next week, what I will do is I will have this. The only thing is it'll be hard to see black on screen. But I will continue working on this one so that you can see how it's working up in the 2 colors. Well, I mean, technically it's not going to be 2 colors because this is colorful, but I'll let y'all see how it's looking when it's paired with the black as the mortar. I'll try to have a couple of the color block rows and a row of mortar done so you can see how that's looking. And then maybe next week, maybe we'll work on, I'll grab one of my solid colors from over there and we'll start working on it in a solid, I think, maybe. Miss Karen, what yarn is this? This is the Red Heart Super Saver Bitty Stripes. I just squished it. It's the Bitty Stripes. And this one is in the color Crayon Box. Isn't that what it's called? Whoa, yeah, Crayon Box. It's just a number 4 weight acrylic. But it's really pretty. Hey, Miss Susan. I bought this a while back. And I had an idea of what I was going to do with it, and then I haven't done that with it, but I have several of them, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use it for this. Karen says, oh, I've not used that yet. This is my first time. I opened the box, but the yarn was actually still in the box, in the little plastic. I don't know what I did with the other one. It fell. It's somewhere around here, but yep. But I like it. I think it's going to be really pretty. It's going to be colorful. Y'all know I like all the color. I like all the colors. But anyway, that's what we're doing. We've decided on black, so I'm going to add black in with this. I'm going to go grab an Ogo that doesn't have, that Tiny hasn't been laying on. And, and then I'll decide for next week what yarn I'm going to use for the solid one. So we can see. And for the solid one, what I may do is instead of doing it as a blanket, I may do it as a scarf, maybe. Like do it long, but not as wide. Like maybe do 2 color block rows with 1 row of mortar and then do the border all the way around it, maybe. Would that be wide enough? That'd be plenty wide enough for a scarf, but not too wide. Let's see. Karen says she found the pink one when she was in Nevada at Walmart. Oh, nice. Good night, Miss Tammy. Cindy said, sounds beautiful. Thank you, ma'am. But yeah, initially, now y'all will hear me say it in the tutorial that you need at least 2 colors. I even type it up. It's even in the pattern. You need at least 2 colors. But I got to thinking, I wonder if the stitch definition would really carry it so you could still see the blocks and see the mortar, and it would just look like a solid, because quilts that are in solids are beautiful. So I want to try it. We're going to try it and see. And it may be a hot mess, and it may just not work that way, but we won't know until we try, right? Got to check it out and see what it's going to look like. In my mind, it's going to work, but Miss Susan says, have I ever used a dot hook? I just got some. I have not used the dots hooks. I've heard great things about them. I think Nancy might have some. Nancy, do you have the dots hooks? I kind of think maybe she does, but I have not. But I've heard great things about people. I've heard great things about them from others that have used them. There you go. Miss Karen says she loves her dots. They're pretty. They're pretty hooks. They are quite pretty. Prior to using this ergonomical, the furls one here, this was the hook I used 99.9% of the time. It was just these little flower ergonomic hooks from Hobby Lobby. This is what I used all the time. And it's got a fat handle, but not as fat as the furls. I like this one. It's just, I don't know, it just fits in my hand good. Kimberly says like a whole cloth quilt. Is that what it's called? But I was thinking too, because of the way I have designed the pattern, other than the fact that you have to do all of the color changes and you have to change off your yarn that way, but if I did it in a solid, it would just be starting with one skein, and you would get all of the texture, all of the different twists and turns, but you wouldn't have to cut your yarn, and you wouldn't have to weave in any ends until you got ready to add your next ball of yarn on, because you don't have to cut to turn. You work one strip, you're right where you need to be, you do your mortar, you do your chainless single crochet row, and then you work it this way. There's nothing to cut. Hey, Miss Kelly, welcome in. Cindy says she loves her boy hooks, but she does use dots at times. That's what I started on. I started with boy hooks, and I still have a bunch of them. I think I still got one sitting right here. Focus in. So I do have But I don't have it sitting here. I started on a boy hook that was just aluminum. Do I have one over here? I do. That's what I started with right here, y'all. Yep, it's a boy. This is what I started with. Just a little old aluminum hook. That's what, when I guess I was about 8 years old when my mama taught me. My grandmother, I tried to get my grandmother to teach me, but she crocheted fast. She had 2 speeds, fast and lightning. She tried to slow it down and she couldn't. So my mama taught me the basic stitches, but I was taught with a boy hook. And then when they came out with the ergonomic hooks, I got those. But then I also have these little generic ones that I bought off of Amazon. And then I bought some of these from Hobby Lobby. Now I just got a bunch of different hooks. I do have a pack of Susan Bates. But, you know, I think it's regional. My Walmart always just sells boy. I don't even think they have Susan Bates. But then I've been in other Walmarts where they don't have boys and they only have Susan Bates. So I think it's just like, it must be like a regional thing. Karen said, well, years ago, that's all they had. That's all I had. I also I learned on Red Heart Super Saver because that's what was available. That's all we had. Kelly says, I use all the hooks. We love all the hooks. Cindy said, that's funny because right now she's using the blue one, sitting here crocheting a pot holder. Karen said her first were the gold clovers. Oh, wow. Nancy said she bought she was taught with an F boy, but she does love her Susan Bates with the bamboo handles. I haven't tried those. I bought a clover from Amazon. I don't even think I've opened it. It came in. I remember opening the Amazon box, but I have no clue what I did with it. It's probably in the living room amongst all that stuff. I was going to do a review of it, but that hasn't happened. I've used the hooks from Dollar Tree. I was pleasantly surprised with those. Those were not bad. Let me see. I think they're in the other drawer. Let me look right here, though. Not in that drawer. Hold on. They're in this one. Let's see if I can not knock all this stuff off. Gotta move stuff out of the way of the drawer. I think they're in there. Actually, you know what? Were they? We did this once before, didn't we? They may be right here. No, not. Let's see. Susan said she likes the Clover soft touch hooks they have. She has a H-I and a J. Move my container of rocks. Now watch all this work and it's not even going to be in here probably. It is. Okay. So the way these are made, they remind me of the old bone hooks. But this is one of the hooks, the plastic ones that I picked up at Dollar Tree. And when I bought these, you got a 2-pack for $1. They've gone up, but you still get 2. But they actually did really well in the yarn. I didn't have high hopes for them just because even though I say I'm not a plastic hook kind of person, these were the ones that I really enjoyed. But these are very, very light, but they weren't bad. I did a review on them and they were not bad at all. Especially for the price, they were really good. Karen said, and hook is all about how you hold it, and so you like what you like. Exactly. Karen said, some kits come with those hooks. They do. And some of the hooks that come in the kits I'm not a fan of, but Like I said, this one came from Dollar Tree, and it was, I think there was this one and a pink one. And this one is a size 4mm. Doesn't have the letter on it, but I liked it. I didn't mind it. I'm not much of a hook snob, but you're right. I like what I like. You know what I'm saying? And I am bummed that the furls, you know, that the people that were making these 4 furls retired. That made me sad. I keep hoping that maybe someday somebody will start making them again. I heard talk that they were coming out with them again, or that they had found somebody, but I haven't seen anything else about it, and I haven't gotten official word from Furls in like an email or anything. So, but if my cousin, when he gets my handle made, I think it'll probably become a fast one, because he's one of my fast favorites, because he's making this part, and then I can change this out so I can use either a boy tip style or a Susan Bates tip style. So inline or tapered, whichever one I want to use. Then I can swap it out. All right, y'all. I have gone over tonight because we just been sitting here chit-chatting, and I just looked down at the clock and realized that I am well over my hour time limit that I have set for myself. So I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to get back to editing. Part 3 of the Crocheted Jericho should be out on Monday. I have it almost done. Last night I thought I had it all the way done. It was getting late and my eyes were getting all squirrely, and I didn't take my little notebook in there with me that had all of my pattern written out. So I was trying to type it into the text because I like to put the pattern on screen. And I got all the way done, and I was like in rows 100 and I think it was like up through 106, and I only had 26 rows to add, which made my stitch count not be 139. So somewhere along the way, I had missed adding in a small rectangle, because the small rectangle is 7. So it was going to be 7 stitches off. So I've got to go back through all of my text and figure out where I messed up my stitch counts. Now, as far as the tutorial, it's correct. It's just my text, where I wrote the pattern on screen in the where I add text. You know what I'm talking about? Like, anyway, where I put the pattern on screen while I'm doing the tutorial at the beginning of it. Yeah, it's not right. So I got to find out where I did that, where I screwed that up at. But last night I think it was midnight maybe. And I had to work today, so I was like, yeah, I've got to stop looking at it, because it's one of those things where if I started it, I would have to find it. So I just turned it off, and I was like, go to bed. Don't even worry about it. Do it tomorrow. So I'm going to look at that tonight after I end here. But that part will be coming up on Monday. And then part 4 is the same stitch sequence as part 1. But I went ahead and filmed up a part 4 just because it's a join as you go, whereas part 1 is a standalone. So I went ahead and filmed up a part 4, but it is the same stitch sequence as part 1, just going to be different colors. So let me scroll back up here, see if I've missed anything. Angel says, have a great weekend and a week. Yes, y'all have a fabulous weekend. Cindy said, I'm very thankful to God that I got to spend some time with you tonight. I really missed you so much. I've missed seeing you too, my friend. Susan said, nice to see you. Take care. Hugs. Good night. Miss Kelly says, good night, everybody. Yes. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I hope y'all have a fabulous weekend. The Crafty Ladies. We will be over at Miss Nancy's on Saturday night, so I hope y'all will come and join us. We are going to be doing some back-to-school crafts. I do believe I'm going to be painting a rock, and I believe Miss Nancy is as well. We have a couple of things. Let me see. I'm looking to see if my rocks are still laying here. I had planned on doing a rock. No, I got a big rock. I'll find some. I may have to go to the creek. Hey, Dima, welcome in. I may have to go to the creek and get me some new rocks. I like that. I want to get a big, flat, fat rock. And I picked some up. I just don't know what I did with them. And you know what? It's quite possible that they're underneath my car seat. They may not have ever even made it out of my car. That's a possibility. Nancy's going to be painting a 2x4. Oh, that's right. So you can paint a rock, you can paint a 2x4, whatever y'all want to bring to paint. We're going to paint it in a back-to-school style. So Cindy said, back-to-school project sounds awesome. So come over. We're going to be over at Miss Little Treasures by Nancy's house. It will be at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Let's see. Cindy said, my picture is coming in very clear tonight. So nice to see you all for sure. Oh, awesome. I know sometimes, which I wasn't sure because it was storming. The past couple of nights we've had some storms. So, and there is Miss Nancy's channel link. So if y'all want to grab that up, that's where we will be on Saturday night. All right, y'all. I will see y'all around the YT streets. And let me go over here. Click on my little... Got to get all my little, click on all my right little buttons here. All right, y'all. I will see y'all around the YT streets. Remember, be creative. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.